Hey guys, it's me, Seren, back with another car video. I know I haven't done a car video for a while, even though I've been on the road. You'd think that I would do more car videos, but I'm always using my phone for the directions. So it's been like tough to do car videos while doing this road trip, but it's late November now and the weather has sort of like snapped on my ass. So I'm sitting in the car right now warming it up. So I sort of had a minute to film this car video and I wanted to film it for you guys just to talk about something real quick. So what I wanted to talk about, as you guys could probably tell from the title of this video, is just because you are saying something in a polite way, maybe, yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. Just because you're saying something in a polite way does not mean you're right, does not mean what you're saying is not offensive. This is something that I feel like I see like a lot. I see people, they criticize when people are aggressive or energetic or passionate or angry or emotional. Number one, I went to therapy. My therapist says that feeling your full range of emotions is a healthy thing. Not everything has to be happy and smooth and fine and light and polite. People should be able to express themselves and be able to feel their full range of emotions. And Black people and Black Americans in particular are always told that we're too much and we're too angry and we're too aggressive and we're too loud, and our expressing of our feelings and our behaviors is just constantly being policed. It's constantly being policed by white people. It's constantly being policed by non-Black persons of color. It's constantly being policed by foreign Blacks under the eye of racism, white supremacy, through the white gaze, all these ideas on how we need to act and what we need to do. And again, this idea that us being emotional or being upset or being angry or being aggressive or being intense is a bad thing, or that it also somehow nullifies our statements, what we're saying, and that meanwhile you could say the most outlandish shit in the world, but if you're saying it in calm and polite and nice, you're right. So the reason why I wanted to, and like, that's some bullshit. And the reason why I wanted to make this video was because a boxer, Deontay Wilder, Black American, descendant of American chattel slavery from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, a clip went viral of him talking to a reporter. Now, this was a Black reporter. I don't know if this reporter was the DACS or if this was a foreign Black in terms of ethnicity. Again, this is getting a little deeper into why we need to start being more aware of these type of things. He was talking to a Black reporter, and the reporter asked him a question about race and racism, and it was an asinine question, really. And he responded very aggressively to the reporter, like, I'm Black, you Black, like, you should know what I'm talking about when we talk about this race shit. Like, it's been fucking 400 years of this shit. Like, you need to fucking know. And if you don't know, he told him, like, you don't believe in Google? Like, nigga, your Google ain't broke. Like, as you guys know, the motherfucking shirts, like, your Google ain't broke, as I've had to tell people numerous times. Like, I had to put the shit on a motherfucking shirt. Like, he was like, your Google's not broke. It's been 400 years of oppression. It's been, 400 years of fucking anti-Black racism. I'm paraphrasing. But, like, the way I'm talking right now is the sort of energy that he had. They call him the Bronze Bomber, I believe. Like, the way that I'm talking right now is the sort of energy that he had. Like, it's been 400 years of fucking oppression. It's been 400 years of anti-Black racism. Like, we all know what's going on. We all know in this country, like, I'm Black, you asking me these stupid ass fucking questions, like, you don't know what's going on. And if you don't know what's going on, that's fine. What, you don't believe in Google? You need to pick up a book and look it up and figure it out, like. So he just told him, like, nah, like, racism is some real shit. Anti-Black racism in this country is some real shit. We all know what it is, and y'all gonna stop with these bullshit ass questions, like, as if we don't all know what it is, like, as if niggas is living in motherfucking denial, like, as if we're fucking making this shit up type shit. And he seemed like he was even more offended because it was coming from a Black person, this Black reporter. Like, he had said some stuff like, we people, we the same people, something like that. And he just got very aggressive with the reporter. Now, I don't even know if he cursed at the reporter, but just in terms of his mannerisms and his energy like shot through the roof. He got very intense. You could tell he was very offended by what the reporter said to him, because it was very much an undertone of like, here go the niggers, talking about the motherfucking anti-Black racism again. Like, we just want to hear you motherfucking box, sir. Like, we don't even want to hear this shit. And so the clip got around, went viral. It got posted on, you know, some Instagram, one of them like big Instagram pages. I think like Ebro posted it, and it's been going around of him just talking about, you know, racism is fucking real, like, and anti-black racism is real. So it got posted on one of those big pages. Somebody sent it to me. I went and looked at it. I saw him. I was like, yes, stand up, like, say it. One of the comments, the top comment on the page that I was on was like, I don't understand why he has to be so aggressive. And, you know, it's possible that the reporter doesn't know the history. Like, okay, they don't know about fucking slavery. Okay, whatever, bitch. We'll humor you. It's possible that the reporter doesn't know about slavery. And why do you have to be so aggressive and start yelling and give him this intense energy? Why can't you explain it in like a calm manner? Like, now, number one, Black Americans always being asked to explain some shit. Like, we always being asked to explain some shit. Like, we didn't fucking make up racism and slavery and all this shit that's going on. And yet somehow we always are being asked to explain. And not only are we always being asked to explain, we can't even explain in the way that we want. We gotta motherfucking hold the motherfucker's hand hold them through the process and talk to them real nice and sweet for them to fucking understand, or else it's a fucking problem. Like, that shit is whack when it's white fragility, when it's white people talking about, I gotta hold their hand and walk them through the process. That shit is whack when it's a foreign black fragility talking about some, I gotta hold their motherfucking hand and walk them through the process. Black Americans don't gotta hold your hand and walk you through not a goddamn fucking thing, especially not here in this fucking country. Your Google ain't broke. There's all motherfucking types of Google books and fucking internet at your disposal. I just watched the damn documentary Google Books in the World Brain. Watch that shit if you get a fucking chance. Like, there's all type of resources at your disposal. If you're, number one, if you have the expectation for somebody to explain something to you, you're entitled, because you feel entitled to their time. You feel entitled to their energy. You feel entitled to having them explain something to you. And then if they even take the time to explain it and they just so happen to get angry, to get emotional, to get intense, to get passionate, and now you're telling them that not only are you entitled to have them fucking explain it to you, but you're also entitled to them having to hold your hand and talk to you nice and walk you through the process and talk to you a certain type of way. Bitch, the world don't motherfucking revolve around you. Especially when we're talking about anti-black racism in the United States. That shit revolves around us. Period. So we could talk about it however we want. And the top comment was from a black girl that was like, well, I'm black and I don't understand why he's getting so aggressive with the reporter. Maybe the reporter really didn't know. Why can't he just explain it to him? I go look at the bitch page. Oh, lo and behold, it's a motherfucking Puerto Rican flag in the bitch bio on Instagram without fail, because they want you to know that they are foreign. They want you to know that they are not like us. Without fail, you go look on these people's pages and there be a foreign flag in the bio, right? But then as soon as you say, well, you're foreign, so that's not even your business. What does she say to me? Oh, so you trying to say I'm not black? I said, no, I never said you weren't black. I said, you're a foreign black, right? Now, technically, you're American because Puerto Rico is part of the United States or whatever you want to call it. But you're not a descendant of American chattel slavery. No, you're not, right? You're not a black American in the sense of descendants of American chattel slavery, which you guys know that is the definition that I use. I was like, of course you're a fucking foreign black. I was like, number one, you're not even a black American. You're not a descendant of American chattel slavery. So if you because you're from PR or maybe you didn't learn about it or whatever. So if you don't have an understanding of what he's talking about, listen to the man's words. He said, your motherfucking Google ain't broke, bitch. Go look it up. So before you get up on your high horse and you condescend to this man, this black American man from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, bitch, a place you probably have never even been in your life. You don't know what this man has gone through, what he's experienced, why he's speaking the way that he is. Before you fucking get up on your high horse and condescend to this black American man about what he should and shouldn't fucking say and the way he should and shouldn't say it and him being too motherfucking aggressive and emotional, bitch, how about you fucking pick up a book and learn some shit, number one? How about you shut the fuck up and listen when a black American is fucking talking, bitch? How about you shut up and listen when an American Negro is talking about anti-black racism here in the fucking United States as a descendant of American chattel slavery? slavery, right? It's not a fucking coincidence that you're a fucking foreign black playing these respectability politics games, telling this man that he's too angry and he's too aggressive. Exactly the same shit that white people say about us, like that we're angry fucking black people, right? There's not a fucking coincidence that you have adopted this racist white supremacist narrative and you are now up on your high horse condescending to this man. And that's exactly what I said to her. I was like, you're not a descendant of American chattel slavery. You don't have the same history, heritage, ethnicity, and culture as us. Bitch, maybe it's part of our culture. Bitch, we get loud. Bitch, we get loud. That's what we do. That's part of our culture, right? It's believed that we don't have a culture and ethnicity. Now, if we was motherfucking spicy Latinx people getting loud, they'd be like, oh, you know how those Latinos be? They get loud, they start yelling. But since black Americans, DACS, don't have no culture, no history, no heritage, no ethnicity, nobody have no understanding of our cultural norms and the way that we express ourselves, we get told we're too loud, we're too upset, we're too aggressive, we're too angry, we're too emotional. We need to relax and calm down and express ourselves in a way that the white gaze deems appropriate. And a lot of us are pushing back against that shit. We don't buy into that respectability politics shit. We're gonna express ourselves the way that we motherfucking want, bitch. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. But you could also feel free to, yet again, pick up a book, pick up Google, and read for yourself and learn for yourself. You can't have the expectation of a person to educate you and then also say, well, I don't like the way that you're fucking educating me, even though you're already doing something for me that you don't even have to do, right? I'm already an entitled motherfucker. And I still am even more entitled because I have decided that I don't like the way you're talking to me. I had to go off on some other motherfucking foreign black girl in my DMs that asked me to explain about what I'm saying in terms of descendants of American chattel slavery. I sent her the whole BA gang playlist. I sent her the new blackface essay that I wrote on Riot. She wrote me back and said, oh, so I see you're not open to a conversation because you're closed-minded. I said, excuse me? You asked me for resources on my opinions. I sent you a playlist of 28 videos and a 5,000 word article that you could read. She said, yeah, but I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to discuss it. I said, you don't get to dictate to me how I have to engage with you. Who fucking died and made you fucking Jesus Christ, bitch? You're not the puppet master fucking controlling my body, my actions, my mouth, my mind, the way that I express myself to you. I was nice enough to indulge your request, which I didn't have to do because it's not a requirement. I was nice enough to indulge your request by giving you information, but you feel like, I said to her, I was like, you don't want to understand my point of view. I said, you want me to engage with you the way that you want. You want to tell me what you think. You don't want to engage with me. You don't want to hear my opinion. You don't want to know what I think because I just gave you all the resources and you're still upset. I was like, and that's a big part of the issue in terms of this disconnect between foreign blacks and black Americans. Y'all just want to talk. Y'all don't want to listen. Y'all think y'all know everything and y'all want to tell us what to do. You want to tell us how to engage with you. You want to tell us how we supposed to behave, how we supposed to act, that we doing too much, that we being too angry, that we're too aggressive, all this stuff. No. I said the same thing to the girl that left a comment on the boxer. I was like, who died and made you God of the way that the American Negroes choose to express ourselves about anti-black racism here in our country? Somebody asked her, they were like, are you even a black American? She said, no, I'm Puerto Rican, African, and Indian. Somebody said Indian as in you're from India. She said, no, I'm Taino. Somebody was like, well, it's a little bit inappropriate for you to be even using the word Indian here in the United States. That's considered to be like not something that you should even do. But even when I said that, I was like, now you see, you said yourself, somebody asked you, what are you? You said you're Puerto Rican, African, and Taino, native Indian, right? I was like, at no point did you say you're a black American. At no point did you say you're a descendant of American chattel slavery. You got the Puerto Rican flag in your bio. You got a whole highlight about the hurricane and PR. And that's fine. Obviously, you're very proud of your indigenous African and Puerto Rican ancestry. But so why is it when I say you're not a descendant of American chattel slavery, you're not a black American, you don't get to tell this man how to express himself, this black American man, how to express himself when it comes to anti-black racism here in the United States? The first thing you said to me was, oh, so you trying to say I'm not black? Nah, bitch, I never said you wasn't black. I said you weren't a black American, though. And you yourself, when somebody asked you, what are you? You didn't name black American as any of the things that you are. Just like when people want to throw the N-word around, but then when you be like, what are you? They say they everything except motherfucking DACS. They everything except black, right? Y'all want to be everything except us until you get this pushback from us about minding your own fucking business. Now it's, I'm black like you, I'm a black American like you. Nah, we not with that shit no more. And yet again, y'all don't grow up the same as us. You don't have the same culture as us. You don't have the same cultural norms in terms of the way that you express yourselves. And so it's people that think just because they black, that they get to throw in their 2 cents on the way that DACS communicate. No. And especially not about anti-black racism here in this country. Nah. No, that man expressed himself exactly the way that he felt like expressing himself. You're viewing him through the white gaze, through the gaze of respectability politics, number one, that tells you that he's too angry, he's too aggressive, he's too emotional, he needs to do this, he needs to do that. You're deaning to tell him what he needs to do. You're tearing this man down because he's not behaving in a way that you find respectable or appropriate. And the things that this girl was even saying about how he needs to fucking relax and settle down, to me, they were offensive. I was like, and the shit that you're saying is offensive. It's white supremacist rhetoric. And she was like, well, I'm being very polite. I'm not coming out my neck. I'm not cursing at anybody. I was like, just because you're being motherfucking polite doesn't make the shit that you're saying any less fucking offensive. And the shit that came to mind was the old Dave Chappelle skit about the fucking gay KKK member, which the whole point of the skit was, number one, that gay people think they can't be racists. You can. And that number two, people think just because they're saying something in a very polite way that it's no longer offensive. Like, he had the fucking Klan hood up. It was, number one, it was pink. He had the Klan hood up and he was like, oh, it's hotter than the Dickens. Oh, it's hot. Oh, you know, I just want to say, we don't have an issue. This is what he was saying in the skit. I just want to say, you know, we don't have an issue with the blacks here, right? We just wish, you know, that they would just go back to Africa. I just don't understand, like, why they have to be here. Like, why can't they just go back to Africa? Like, they're just here and they're just, you know, they're committing all these crimes, and, you know, they're not good for the country, and they're raping and they're thieves, and I just, you know, and they look like monkeys. I'm sorry. But, you know, I just don't think it's just appropriate for them to be there. And, you know, I'm very nice to them when I see them. It's not a personal problem. We just think they should go back to Africa is all. And we just believe in white power. That's all. You know, the idea that since you're saying it in a quote unquote nice way, in a non-offensive way, you're not cursing. Exactly what that girl said. Like, well, I'm not cursing. I'm not coming out the side of my neck. So it's like, you think, well, you're right. And the shit that you're saying is not offensive. But since the bronze bomber said in an aggressive way, it's been 400 years of fucking anti-black racism against us. If you don't know about it, you need to pick up a book and fucking read and educate yourself, because racism does exist and it's not cool. Since he said it that way and he was aggressive, he's wrong? So you can say whatever you want as long as you're polite. You can say the most offensive thing. And I see people say this all the time. They be like, well, Seren, I didn't curse. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. Why are you going off? And I'd be like, because the shit you just said was offensive. Like, the shit that you just said was offensive to descendants of American chattel slavery. Like, and another thing that the fucking girl said was, are you guys gonna let... She has said something even like, are you guys gonna let stuff that happened over 400 years ago continue to shackle you and hold you back, or are you gonna rise above it? Bitch! It doesn't matter how fucking polite you say that shit. That shit is offensive. You gonna tell a fucking ethnic group that was enslaved for centuries, that is still dealing with the ramifications of slavery, of state-sanctioned violence, of oppression, of redlining, of the school to prison pipeline, mass incarceration, the war on crime, the war on drugs, being labeled super predators, like, you're gonna all this stuff, you're gonna tell us, are we gonna let the past shackle us? We are shackled to the past. Again, getting into this idea of being racially unshackled, we are shackled to the past. The past is not even the past, as the saying goes. It's the fucking present. It is still impacting us to this day. So you think because you said nice and politely, why can't you niggers get over it, that made it fine? And then when I say that's inappropriate, you can't say that to us. You say, well, I'm black, I can say it. And when I say, no, you're not a descendant of American chattel slavery, you don't understand what he's saying as a black American man from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Bitch, you're from Puerto Rico. You don't understand what he's saying. You don't get to tell him he's too aggressive. You don't get to dictate to him how he has to express himself to you or any motherfucking body else. You don't get to use this white supremacist rhetoric against him and then hide behind whatever. Well, I'm black just like you. That was exactly what she said. So you trying to say I'm not black? Like, nah, this shit is over. Whatever y'all be thinking this shit is, well, we were raised back in your countries to be passive aggressive and to say the most fucked up foul shit in the most polite way, and when we respond aggressively, we the wrong ones. Nah, that's over, because that's white people motherfucking tactics too. That's over. Y'all thinking you could dictate to us and tell us what to think and how to be, that's motherfucking over too. All this shit is over. All this shit is over with and done with. And stop thinking that just because you're saying something polite, you're right, and the other person that might be saying something more aggressive is wrong. Because that man was absolutely 100% correct in everything he said. And so what if he said it motherfucking aggressively? So what if he's angry? Niggas got a lot to be fucking mad about, in the words of Solange. We got a lot to be mad about. Yeah, we mad. And what you gonna do? Nothing. And we gonna express ourselves exactly however we want. American fucking blacks. And nobody gonna stop us. And nobody gonna shut us up. And you're not gonna try to gaslight us and condescend us and tell us that our opinions aren't valid because we're not expressing them nice and pretty and proper. All that respectability politics shit is done. And you're not gonna keep trying to tell us that your opinions are valid just because you're black. Nope, they not. Nope, I'm not saying you not black, but your opinions on descendants of American chattel slavery, if you not one of us, your opinion is not valid. You don't get to talk to us, talk about our history, talk about our ethnicity, talk about our culture, talk about what happens here with us, period. Or, I mean, you can, but we don't gotta listen. And you don't get to tell us anything. And I was so unsurprised when I went and saw she was a fucking Puerto Rican. I was like, of course. So I just wanted to make this video about that. Shout outs to him, because he fucking let that reporter have it exactly the way that he fucking deserved, honestly. And again, people don't understand our culture and the way that we communicate, because American blacks especially, like, we could all be together in a room, and we've even talked about this on a couple episodes of the Black Americans now. We could all be together in a room, we drinking, don't let the cards come out, we playing spades, we get to talking, we get to debate, and we get to talking about, stuff that's going on in the world, or politics, or motherfucking music, or we get to talking about whatever. We might get loud. Somebody might stand up. We might start yelling. We might get aggressive. That doesn't even mean we're fucking arguing, upset, we about to fight. Like, of course, sometimes it could get to that level, but if you don't understand the way we communicate, you just don't understand the way that we communicate, because you're not one of us. But then you don't get to look me in my face and be like, I am one of you. Nah, you're not. Nope. No. And I just wanted to make this video on that. Stop thinking just because you're saying shit in a polite way that you're right, and thinking that somebody is saying something in an aggressive way so they're wrong. No, that's not the case. Not the case. Stop and listen to what people are saying. Stop thinking that you're entitled to having anybody explain anything to you, because nobody is entitled to anything. And all this Google in the world, we can all go look up and do research for ourselves. And if somebody does actually fucking take the time to try and talk to you about some shit and explain to you, you don't then get to also sit up on a high horse and dictate the way that they're gonna explain it to you. You are not fucking God. No. Sorry. No. Car video.